Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the iHeartRadio network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports have been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France, and a lot more companies coming up that are actually countries coming up following Big C Sports, the Russian Republic, whatever that is, Big C. We got Poland, of course. We got a lot of other people down south like Australia and some more countries. So I really appreciate the growth we're having, Big C, in such a short period of time. And we love Canada. You know we love Canada, but there's still no one we love more than the good old boys down south in the land of the free, in the home of the brave, celebrating the 4th of July last night, Big C. How's it going for all you good old boys, Big C?
Well, Charlton, it was quite a nerve-shattering experience for me. I know there was a couple of fireworks shot off between several hundred rounds.
Yeah.
And I mean, it went all night long. I think it was about 1:30 in the morning when I heard the last one go off. About 3:30 in the morning. So people are still celebrating. I don't know if people understand what a calendar is down here all the time. But they kept it going.
That's so funny, Big C. You know, today's a beautiful day. It's actually the July the 5th, 2017. And so many things going on in the world of sports, and of course our country celebrating 241 years, celebrating the birth of the United States and the independence. Even though we still had slavery and the Native Americans don't have anything to celebrate about it, it's still America and what it can be. It's about going forward, and hopefully we can all go forward together. But while we're all celebrating the 4th of July and Donald Trump's traveling to do this global summit meeting, North Korea, they actually shot off a missile that can hit the United States. Basically, this is no more just talking about, tweeting about women and what you like or don't like about women. While Donald Trump is doing that, North Korea actually has a missile that can hit the intercontinental United States. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, when you think of what little Kim is doing over there in North Korea, you know, it's nerve-rattling. And he was warned by former President Obama that he needs to keep a tighter eye on North Korea.
Yeah.
This little guy over there has been in an outrage for the past couple of years. And, you know, he's challenging the world because realistically, when you look at it, he's a dictator that inherited a country.
Yeah.
He has nothing to lose. Everything was given to him. So him challenging the world, being on the world stage, and really antagonizing the U.S.
Yeah.
Trump is calling on China to put sanctions on this guy. Now, I really have to question what type of pressure Trump is putting on China with all the money that he's got now that he's doing with that country.
Yeah.
So I think he's doing a lot of lip and Twitter service as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is rather rattling for the U.S. You think about it, there's 100,000 U.S. civilians that live in South Korea.
Yeah.
Also, some 28,000 military force, Charlton, that are there in South Korea.
Yeah.
Talk about a stone's throw away. They see each other out the window.
Yeah.
So, you know, these people are in immediate peril. And so when you have a dictator who is torturing his own people, he realistically can care less about the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's quite concerning for the U.S. And now that we have the president in a summit over in Europe,
Yeah.
you know, going to hang out with his buddy Putin, and we're going to see which one bows down to the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, we're really going to find it out. And will he, you know, he has an opportunity to squash all of this talk about Russia meddling in the election.
Yeah.
All he has to do is say, Putin, you need to stop whatever meddling, or did you do it? Those two would stop all of it.
Well,
Will he be man enough to do it? No, Charles.
Well, Big C, we already know that's not going to happen because he owns about 19% in a Russian bank. And even that Russian gambling ring going on at Trump Tower. I don't even know why CNN pretends this is the first time they're meeting. Such a joke, our media. We really miss Walter Cronkite. At least give us the facts.
He stated several times that he and Putin have met directly and indirectly previously.
Yeah.
So it's documented in newsreel. So for people to continuously say it in all the media outlets, saying that these two have never met, yet he has said it on many occasions. All you have to do is pull up archived newsreels.
Yeah.
And you'll see it.
Well, we know we know they've met, but the denial that they've done business, meeting someone is at a mall. You meet someone at a mall, signing a contract with them is a totally different thing, and that's what they've done, Big C. So hopefully we'll keep an eye on that as the world gets happy about the 4th of July celebration. We hope we don't have any type of any crazy mess going on when you have nuclear weapons. That's not just talk. That's real stuff, Big C. So hopefully we can crack down on that. I do want to bring up something that also shocked the world of sports on Monday. And I know a lot of times we talk about athletes and what athletes are doing. But Big C, we would not be doing our job if we did not point this out. You know, we love sports and we talk about so many things. Fox Sports fires Jamie Horowitz, the head of their sports division down there in Los Angeles. Now, here's a guy that had been with several other media outlets, Big C, and it's shocking that it's another sexual harassment case. I don't know what happened. We don't know what went on, but for them to fire him, and he's the head of the sports department of all of Fox Sports, we know a lot of the guys at ESPN were trying to mirror Fox Sports. So I just want to ask you, what type of a dent did that put in the world of Fox Sports when they were one of the growing networks out there, even taking people away from ESPN? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you know, Fox has had this controversy. We go back to Bill O'Reilly, Charlton.
Yeah.
And look at what he did, Roger Ailes.
Yeah.
And the sexual misconduct. This was a culture within Fox industry. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fox News Sports Network. This has been a culture that has been unwarranted and uncontained. And so for them to make this move, I think the Murdoch family is trying to clean the slate, especially since they've got the president so much, and the president is an advocate of sexual assault against women.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you're one of the largest news outlets in the world, Charlton, and sports outlets, and you have your leaders conducting themselves in this fashion, this just shows the disrespect that you have for women in society.
Yeah.
And you're saying that you're representing them, but you're also mistreating them, Charlton.
Yeah.
And so for these things to go on and to have the heads of departments conducting themselves in this manner, it really leaves the lesser employees at a total disadvantage.
Yeah.
Do I talk and get dismissed, or do I talk and take my chances that something may happen?
Well, Big C,
you're in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I do want to say this segment sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And next time you go test drive one, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. I think you just brought up a very salient point. Rupert Murdoch obviously put a lot of money in Trump. Trump has his hands full dealing with Putin and now North Korea. But you just brought up something that maybe slips the mind of a lot of people. Yeah, people wonder, and we're all shocked that Horowitz get fired for sexual assault allegations. We don't know what happened. But here you have the guy, Murdoch, that endorses Donald Trump, even after the tapes came out. Everybody's been fired except for Donald Trump. Have you noticed that, Big C? The guy that had the tape recorder at the news station that they had him talking about grabbing women, he got let go. And now you have the guy at Fox, who is Bill O'Reilly, $25 million to have him go away. And now you have the head of the sports division at Fox, Horowitz, being fired. And the boss endorsed Donald Trump, who condoned the same thing they were fired for, Big C. I just doesn't make any sense. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you think about this. You have athletes in the world of sports. They go to jail on these type of allegations.
Yeah.
And,
especially the black ones, Big C.
Where you have a salary cap in a position.
Yeah.
Where you own it, and you look at the free industrial world, where these men go out and commit these heinous acts.
Yeah.
We just saw where Bill Cosby was prosecuted in Pennsylvania.
The only one.
Same type of allegations, Charlton.
Yeah.
Left in a hung jury.
Yeah.
But now you have these gentlemen all the time that these allegations take place, but nothing is ever done criminally behind it. And so I wonder, what's the issue? Why aren't they being prosecuted?
They're white.
White America is not being prosecuted for sexual assault.
Yeah.
Yet we see many African American men going under the last for that, ending up on trial.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's partial or impartial, Charlton. It's just the eye test that you have to look at. When you sit here and you take three of the top heads in a network in a year, Roger Ailes, Bill O'Reilly, and now the director of sports for Fox.
Horowitz, yeah.
They're all fired for the same misconduct
that Donald Trump did.
We see no criminal actions taken against these men.
No.
How do they get a pass for sexual misconduct? Not only that, Charlton, how do they get paid tens of millions of dollars to walk away after mistreating women?
Yeah.
And it's not criminal. So, it sends a bad message to America that if you're wealthy, and Donald Trump said it, so, they were all following this message.
Yeah.
When you're wealthy and you're famous, you can do what you want to women. Donald Trump stated that message. The President of the United States, even though they said he said it when he was think he still has the same orange skin that he had. Okay?
The same orange skin. Yep.
He hasn't changed.
Yeah.
That orangutan is still the same color.
Well.
So he said it was acceptable.
Yeah.
When you're rich and famous to sexually assault women, and they appreciated it. And that's the climate that we've seen in Fox.
And Big C, I'll even take it a step further than that. If you're Caucasian, Tim Wise, a white guy, a Jewish guy, an author, talked about white skin privilege, and sometimes we deny it because we believe we just celebrated the Independence Day, land of the free and home of the brave and liberty and justice for all. I mean, for everybody. That means no matter what your color, no matter what your gender, no matter what your religion, liberty and justice for all. But the way the law is ferreted out, when you're wealthy and white, nothing happens to them. I mean, he may have to pay a fine, he may get fired, but someone else will pick him up. And that's a shame because you have women who are marginalized in the workforce. Every 20 seconds, some woman is assaulted in the country. And I pride ourselves on Big C Sports because we say, let's at least shout it out. Shout it out. Tell guys don't do that. When someone happens to do that, if you're a woman, call 911. And now you have the heads of all these executive networks, white guys, that are doing it like hand over fist, like a handshake, and all they get is fired. No prosecution like what happened to Bill Cosby. No one's having a DA getting together to see if they can find a jury of their peers. They just get a slap on the back and they get a job elsewhere. Also, I want to bring this up because I love Fox Sports. I've been watching it since I was a little boy, from way back in the day when they started showing Pac-12 football, Big C. I want to ask you about the diversity in television. And Fox Sports is in Los Angeles. You can't find a more diverse environment than Los Angeles with over 15 million people in the LA basin. Where are the African-American sports programs? They make their money on 80% African-American athletes, yet when it comes to network television, you may find 10 to 15% that get jobs, Big C. Why is that?
Well, Charles, if you just look at Fox's involvement also in the minority community, look how many female broadcasters that they have ousted, Charlton, in the past decade.
Yeah.
That they say, age is an issue. I remember Colleen Dominguez, one of the best female broadcasters.
Oh, she was excellent. Excellent.
God, and she was dual. Not only was she a woman, but she was a Hispanic woman.
Yeah.
Doing great sideline reporting in the NFL. She's
Yeah.
gone out of Fox. And, you want to raise this age issue. But, when you think about the sexual assault allegation that goes along with Fox,
Yeah.
you bring in these younger women who are aspiring, for a career. What will they not do? And I'm not suggesting that things have occurred, but, it seems to be ironic that the older women who are more established,
Yeah.
intelligent,
Yeah.
that had savvy about themselves and knew the industry, were pushed out for these eyepieces.
Yeah.
They weren't as knowledgeable or professional about knowing the game. And I think as a sports fan, what we want the most when we're sitting down and paying attention to a sports event
Yeah.
that's being broadcasted is that we want knowledge. I can care less if somebody has perfect teeth.
Yeah.
I care less, Charlton, if they have the greatest hair extension in the world.
Yeah.
But what I want is knowledge from a broadcaster, whether it's male or female.
Yeah.
Give me some insightful information that I may not have recognized during this broadcast or this event. That's what I had from these senior broadcasters that these networks have gotten rid of for sexist reasons, Charlton.
Yeah, and I really...
Not for professionalism,
Yeah.
but for sexism.
And Big C, I love that. I actually got an email from a Fox Sports radio program talking about wanting to have a conversation about the Big C Sports program that we do. And I love opportunity. But I know one thing, and this is a fact. There are times when people in our position, if someone offers you $1 million to do something, maybe you'll shut up and just read scores all day. And maybe that's part of what they want in the networks. But I'm telling you, Big C, there's something about the opportunity. When you speak bold and you speak with the truth, whether people agree with you or not, you tend to get some attention. And I think that angle that you started this with Big C Sports, just being honest. We've talked about how we're going to do the program. You said just tell the fact. You want real sports talk, nothing watered down. And I see Fox Sports, of all people, they're saying they're trying to bring that genre to television. It's just a shame when you have your top guy being accused of sexual assault. And I hope he's innocent, but he's already fired, so I don't know. I just hope that men in our position will realize we don't want that happening to us or anyone we care about, and we want to keep women safe and all that talk. I hope that happens, Big C. And I want to bring something up because, I'm one of the most passionate guys in the world when it comes to football, especially college football. And I know there's so much talk about sports, and I think there's going to be so much emphasis on the Pac-12 conference this year because of college football. And I think the quarterback position, which is always one of the leading positions out there, at least is pushed and hyped by media. I look at the top 3 quarterbacks in the Pac-12, and you could say 4. I look at Sam Darnold at USC, came out of San Clemente High School in Southern California. I look at Jake Browning at Washington, came out of Folsom, California, in Northern California. And Josh Rosen he's at UCLA, came out of St. John Bosco of Bellflower, California, which is also Southern California. But there's a kid up at Washington State that can throw the football as well as any of them. Big C, your thoughts on college football in the quarterback position leading to the Pac-12 this year, your thoughts?
Well, Charles, Donald got all that hype and pub after having a good game in the Rose Bowl. When you stand on the national stage and you perform like he did, you get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Falk up in Washington State, Charlton, is the leader in the Pac-12. I mean, during the season, Jake Browning had a lot of attention because he played in the playoff series for the national championship.
Yeah.
Josh Rosen, was freshman of the year at UCLA.
Yeah.
But Falk up under Mike Leach up in Washington State, I mean, he had more yards, more attempts, more touchdowns than any quarterback in the Pac. He threw for just under 5,000 yards, Charlton.
Yeah.
And this is a kid in that gun offense that Mike Leach loves to run, is a quarterback's, haven.
Yeah.
And so Browning has been touted as the Heisman candidate, and you're not even the best quarterback in your conference. So you really have to wonder about that.
That's fun.
Who's picking what, Charles? Was that somebody from Fox Sports?
That's funny, Big C. So obviously, and even looking around the country, you could say they're the Southwest. You look at them good old boys from in the Big 8, the Big 10, actually Big 12 now, Big C, out of Oklahoma, Baker Mayfield, and they also have a guy named Riddle. Those guys can throw the football. I think they average about 15,000 yards combined, Big C, down in the Big 12, Big C. Your thoughts on the quarterback position? They're really putting an emphasis on guys that can throw the football down the field. I know we had Watson last year and what he did for Clemson, a dominant athlete. I think he's better than all of these guys, Big C, but he's gone. Now we're trying to find a new guy. Talk about the two guys. Baker Mayfield's been around, 14 years now at Oklahoma, Big C. Your thoughts?
Yeah. He started out down at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Still playing quarterback down there. Rick Mahomes beat him out of the competition, who is now the number 1 draft pick of the Kansas City Chiefs this last year.
Yeah.
And now Mayfield has been tearing it up down in Norman. You think about these two quarterbacks in the same Oklahoma, Charlton, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 seasons, they combined for over 15,000 yards passing. So when you talk about an air raid offense in a conference that was known for its running backs, you got to think about it.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State produced Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
Oklahoma produced Billy Sims, Joe Washington, some of the greatest ground attack running backs in college football history.
Yeah.
We're talking 2 Heisman Trophy winners between these two schools, Charlton, in the running back position during that decade of the 80s. So now this has become just a passing offense, pass happy. But it's fan favorite, when you see that.
Yeah.
But it's so many great quarterbacks, and these two quarterbacks in the middle of the country don't get the notoriety, Charlton, of the quarterbacks on the East Coast and the West Coast.
Yeah.
You think about those two quarterbacks. Sam Darnold doesn't have the numbers that they have, nor does he have the numbers that Folk, and your boy is being touted as the Heisman candidate.
Well, that's because he has Lynn Swann, Big C, and that the USC media. I think he's a great quarterback, but I don't think he's as good at what we saw in Watson last year. I think Browning might be a better quarterback up at Washington. And like you just said, the guy up at Washington State, man, he even throws the ball. They can have 4th down and 1 on the goal line. They'll throw it, Big C. That's how Leach runs his offense. Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, Leach did that when he was at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
He taught Cliff Kingsbury, who is a coach at Texas Tech now.
Yeah.
And Kingsbury has been one of those quarterbacks who followed the tutelage of what he did when he was in college. But Mike Leach has always been one of the foremost quarterback passers.
Oh, yeah.
Coaches since he's been in college, Charlton. And, we talk about those quarterbacks, but still there's a kid returning back to school in Louisville this year, Charlton Jackson.
Yeah.
Who won the Heisman Trophy, okay?
Yeah.
No one is talking about him.
Yeah.
But he won the Heisman Trophy as the best player in college football.
Yeah.
And his numbers were just off the charts. And even when you look at the playoff system last year, Dalton, there was a quarterback that was in the national championship game that came up a little short against Clemson.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Jalen Hurd, just a sophomore. A true freshman at
Alabama. Yeah.
A sophomore now.
Yeah.
And so no one's giving him consideration, but, he goes, 13-1 for 15 and 1 as a freshman quarterback last year, so he didn't have bad numbers, Charlton. So when you look around the country, college football is in a very strong state.
Oh, yeah.
When you think about being led at quarterback, we didn't even talk about Francois down at Florida State.
Yeah.
Who was one of the best freshmen who threw for over 4,000 yards in his freshman campaign, Charlton.
Yeah.
So when you look at those guys who can predict what college football is going to be, Charlton, that's a long road. That's a real long road of prediction because there's so many great athletes out there. Every time you turn around, there's always some freshman who comes in and just wows everybody, Charlton. He plays grown man football. And we can expect the same thing this year because we have so many of these elitist camps and so many of these high schools that recruit players, Charlton, these academies, who bring players in under high school scholarships. They don't say that, but that's what they're and all of a sudden you got these super high school teams and talented teams, and all of a sudden they end up with these top flight programs. And even the Big Ten, what they have, 15 teams?
I think 15, 16 schools up there, Big C.
They still have some big quarterbacks returning.
Yeah.
When you think about it, J.T. Barrett is still there at Ohio State.
Yeah.
He won't leave. They tried kicking him out. Well,
yeah.
Well, you got Speed at Michigan, who led the team, to that tremendous season last year.
Yeah.
You think about the kid at Penn State who threw with Donald in the
Rose Bowl. Yep. A lot of great players.
You got a conference and a plethora of great players around the country that is going to be a very exciting year for college football. And think about it, it's only 50 days away.
Yep. Well, some good old boys down from Las Vegas are already calling me about it. I want to say sports is a billion-dollar industry. Boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. For every sports event, you need insurance. We go through Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports. When you follow up with them, let them know Charlton and Big C sent you. Big C, in the world of sports, we love it so much. My friend Young, actually, he hit another home run for the New York Yankees today. Now he's at 29. I think when you think about how great baseball is, you have this kid, Aaron Judd, 29 home runs. He ties Joe DiMaggio for the rookie home run record. And Big C, we're not even at the All-Star game yet. Your thoughts?
You think about it, one of the all-time greats, Joe DiMaggio of the New York Yankees, and Aaron Judge is already, as you said, not even at the halfway point
No.
of the Major League Baseball season, has tied his Yankee rookie home run record.
And it's all clean. It's all clean, Big C.
What, he took a shower?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You think about it, when you think that baseball might be on life support, Charlton, you always get these young big bats that come along, some great hurler that can throw a no-hitter.
Yeah.
And that's what Judge has done for the Yankees. I mean, this was a team, after the loss of Derek Jeter, really had no direction.
Yeah.
You lost A-Rod one year, you lost Derek Jeter the next year, Charlton, and this has been a proud franchise in baseball.
Yeah.
It always has a shining star, and if they don't bring one from within, they normally go out and trade for one.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge has come up through the Yankees farm system and brought that life to the Yankees. They need a couple more bats to match what he's doing, Charlton, but he's just been phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's going to be in the home run derby next week, Charlton, down in Miami. And when you think about this, Charlton, this home run derby only has one player in it that's over 30 years of age.
Wow.
So when you think about the youth movement that's moving in baseball, and the home run derby is going to average 26 years of age.
Yeah.
The youngest all time since this has been going on. Baseball really has a bright future with all these young big bats coming along.
Well, that's a very good point. So obviously we're all looking forward to the All-Star game next week. And also Judd might have 30 home runs by the time we get to that, Big C. Going across the pond, I think about the world of tennis. I look at what Andy Murray and Rafael Nadal have done in their careers, and now they're tearing up and making more news at Wimbledon, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you think about Wimbledon, it is the iconic event in sports. Murray didn't get a chance to finish his first match due to a withdrawal from injury from his opponent, but Nadal, on a comeback, just a year ago with a hand injury, people thought that Nadal's career may be in jeopardy.
Yeah.
But Rafa, who was one of the greatest clay court players in the history of professional tennis, has had some success at Wimbledon. And it would be nice to see him reach the finals, have a lefty with that powerful serve, whether it's Murray or Djokovic.
Yeah.
That he
Yeah, that's a great name, Big C. Also, another great name as we come back to the United States, Nick Young from the LA Lakers, sent to the Golden State Warriors. What's going on with Magic Johnson getting rid of Nick Young? Golden State already has a full cabinet full of food, Big C. I think he just emptied some of the Lakers' cabinet. Are they trying to bring in a bigger name, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, I don't know if it's a bigger name, Charlton. How do you get a bigger name than what you already have on your roster?
Yeah.
Golden State has always been known for rejuvenating careers. When you think about what they've done over the last 4 years, that they've brought in journeyman players and made them part of a championship organization.
Yeah.
Nick Young, this may be the best thing for Nick Young's career. He's sort of like JaVale McGee, a hot dog player when he's with the wrong organization, thinking that he's a star that he's not.
Yeah.
Nick Young had that same reputation in Los Angeles, but I think that he'll be a critical, off-the-bench asset for the Golden State Warriors. His Iguodala goals, now you bring in another swingman who's 6'7", Charlton, who can knock down the three. He's about a 40% shooter from the three-point arc in his NBA career, Charlton. So that would ease the pressure for Andre Iguodala going, and it's only costing him $5 million when you think about it. That's about your salary. And she might be
Yeah.
This is a guy who had an ego, now has to come to an organization of winners.
Yeah.
Of some of the best players in the NBA. So however good you thought you were, you know that now you're only a second-tier player coming to the Warriors.
Well, speaking of players, we go across the United States, Big C, the Boston Celtics. We were saying last week that Hayward would not go down to Miami because that's not his culture. Even though he lives in San Diego, has a home in San Diego, going from Utah to Boston, that's the ideal player that Boston wants. They want the white guy that's an all-star player, and it's just a fact, Big C. They want someone who looks like a Larry Bird or a Kevin McHale or a Danny Ainge, no pun intended. Danny Ainge getting a guy that maybe looks a lot like himself, even though the most famous basketball player in the history of the Celtics is Bill Russell. I think Gordon made a good choice by going to Boston. And you know what, in Utah, they even burned his jerseys, Big C. It's not just LeBron James. Your thoughts on the love for Hayward, Big C, your thoughts?
Charlton, I don't know if Gordon Hayward really makes Boston that much better.
No.
I only see maybe a 3 to 5 win difference in victories if he can increase that much.
Yeah.
Because you're still in the same conference with LeBron James, the Toronto Raptors, the Washington Wizards, Charlton, teams that are on the up and up.
Yeah.
So you really haven't brought in a dominant player. Now you're going to take the ball out of Isaiah Thomas's hands several times. He's not really a facilitator.
No.
He has made himself better since he's been with the Celtics, but he hasn't made everybody else better.
Yeah.
He's become an all-star player. But when you look at the East, it's very, very equal across the slate of the top 4 teams.
Yeah.
So I don't see Boston becoming a better team with Hayward. I see them staying the same. But everybody's talking about all this movement in free agency, and everybody's wondering who's going to do what next year. Even though it's the biggest talk in sports right now.
Yeah.
What is the talk next year? LeBron James is in his final year of his contract, Charlton.
Yeah.
In Cleveland. Everybody's saying it's a foregone conclusion that he will go to LA.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't think so. I think that he may track back down to South Beach, okay? He had a home down there.
Yeah.
He still has a home. He still has that. And I think the last time I checked, Florida didn't have any state income tax. So whatever he makes, is more than what he's going to make elsewhere because he's going to pay less in taxes. Florida's very inviting. Now, you think about it. When he went down there were 3 equal contracts. He, Wade, and Bosh.
Yeah.
That players took less to win a championship. Now, Miami is very inviting in every way.
Oh, yeah.
A metropolitan city, you're right, on the major waterway, and it's just a beautiful place.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got Pat Riley, who's a guru of bringing in people.
Yeah.
Who I think wants to win one more title before he exits the NBA because he wants to be known as one of the greatest executives and coaches of all time.
I agree.
He wants to be looked at as Phil Jackson when he came to that point of coaching.
Yeah.
And then, Red Auerbach when it came to that point of an executive, Charlton.
Yeah.
But when you think about this, what's attractive about the West Coast for LeBron? Nothing. You have these great teams that are out there already, that are powerful teams that are winning 50 games.
Yeah.
Now, he stays on the East. No one thought that he would go back to Cleveland, okay?
Yep.
They burned his jersey, took down his posters.
They might do it a second time, is what you're saying, Big C? They're going to burn it a second time?
So I'm thinking, well, he's going to leave Cleveland.
Yeah.
But I think that the deal is to be in Miami.
Yeah.
Because now you're still the powerhouse team in the East.
Yeah.
You go to the West, Shelton, regardless of who you go to, you're still only going to be the second best team in that division.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
You stay in the East Coast, Shelton. You're still wherever LeBron goes, you're the best team in that division. So you go to Miami, you automatically elevate Miami. Now, they got some solid pieces in Miami.
Yeah.
They just re-signed Waiters. They got Whiteside at center. They got a couple of pieces in Miami. So you bring LeBron and one other player back into Miami,
yeah.
you automatically in the Eastern Finals.
Well, Big C, as we close out, we know Connor David signed an 8-year deal with the Edmonton Oilers, a young man, making him very, very wealthy. But I want to ask you, Big C, in the final minute, what are you looking forward to in the world of sports? Yeah.
We got the Wounded Warriors games. And this is like the Invictus game that Prince Harry initiated over here in England a couple of years ago with Wounded War vets. Now we're bringing that to the USA. And I want to celebrate the United States for recognizing these courageous young women and men who were injured in battle, Charlton.
Oh, yeah.
Who put their lives on the line and suffered catastrophic injuries. That we can celebrate them, give them an opportunity to still be productive and show and highlight them to the world and America, Charlton, and praise them for the sacrifice that they made and also reward them for the challenges ahead that they still have in life.
Big C, that's a very good way to close out the show. We've talked about college football being about 50 days away. For you good old boys down in Alabama, you don't know what 50 days is because it's like every day in Alabama for Nick Saban. Also, we talked about some of the shocking news, guys being let go at Fox Sports with Jamie Horowitz. The guy that leads the sports division gone. Talked about the NBA still making moves, players being going from one team to another. Of course, the NHL and Major League Baseball is all good. You can always find it every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide on the iHeartRadio network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C. And them good old boys down south, we always want to tell you, there's never any excuse for domestic violence. If you know anyone in trouble, just call 911 because no one should have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports program, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.